With 100 distractions around the house, it is so easy to lose that feeling of immersion that we're all looking for when we sit down to play a game of D&D with our friends. Hey y'all, my name is Jess. I've been playing TTRPGs for the last 5 years or so, and in this video, I'm going to give you my top tips on how to make your D&D or TTRPG game more immersive for your DM and players alike. Whether you play D&D in person or online, it is so easy to let the world around you distract you from the quest at hand. But you can combat that with thematically appropriate music. It's so much easier to lose yourself in the game when you can hear the sounds of the townsfolk at the tavern, the babbling brook while your caravan is traveling through the woods, or even the dragon soaring over the battlefield. There are plenty of playlists on YouTube that offer fantasy music for you to play during your game, and even websites like tabletopaudio.com that let you make custom playlists to play during your session to set the mood. Tabletopaudio.com has a collection of over 400 songs for you to choose from, including exclusive Patreon-only versions of some of their songs. Not to mention their really cool sound pad where you can create custom scene sounds like a large group fighting with horses running around and war horns in the distance. Another great way to keep the immersion going from game to game is to have all of your players do in-character recaps instead of the dungeon master recapping the game at the start. I personally do all of my notes in my character's perspective, so it's really fun when doing recaps from my character's perspective to leave out little bits and pieces that happened in the other session because my character wasn't involved, thus prompting another player to jump in and say, oh, but this happened to my character. It's a really fun warm-up, and it really gets everyone really set into that mood of we're going to play some D&D. I think this is especially fun for online streamed games when you come back from a break. I think it gives the dungeon master just a bit of a chance to breathe before they go to set the next scene, and it's more interactive with all of your players, and gives the audience just a really fun reminder of what they've already watched or of what they've missed. Some players can visualize what the dungeon master is describing in their heads, and other folks need a visual cue to help them make it more real, and that's where maps come into play. For in-person games, maps can be as simple as a gridded sheet of paper with lines drawn around to signify the buildings, the doors, and the windows. And they can be as intricate as a beautiful drawn out map, with full color detail terrain. If you're looking to make intricate maps, I suggest taking a look at Incarnate. It is a gorgeous system. There is a free model and a priced model. You can do big like territory maps down to looking at a city, a town, and even what is inside of a house. I also suggest working with your players to create a map together in between sessions when folks are still getting to know their characters. It can be a really fun team building experience, and you can find out more about your characters while you're doing it. If you're playing online, you could take that nice pretty map that you've just made and put it onto a virtual tabletop. I personally like Shard Tabletop and Roll20. These are the ones that I use for all of my online games. I love them because in Shard there is a lot of great third-party content like Underground Oracle Publishing. They actually have one of my favorite D&D species that I've ever played, the Elowin. It is a moth-like species. I've used it many a time to play as Mothboy or Mothman. In both Roll20 and Shard Tabletop, you can actually create character sheets right on the VTT, where you can have players roll from there if folks don't have physical dice to do that. It is so much fun. I highly recommend it. Throughout the game, you can use tokens to signify where your characters are on a map so they know exactly where they are in relation to that chest that is definitely not a mimic, or if they're within 30 feet of their next combatant in battle. And that brings me to my final suggestion on how to make your D&D game more immersive. Whether you're playing online or in person, you can use minis to help visualize what the characters look like and where they are on the map. No matter what game I'm playing, I always go to Hero Forge to create a mini. Not only does it help me come up with the look of my character, but it also helps me verbally describe what my character looks like when I can look at the actual character art. After I have made my mini, I'll take that image and turn it into a token that I can put on the virtual tabletop and then move around on the map. There are a ton of different systems that you could use to make minis, and if you don't like the miniature model exactly, you can draw out your character or even hire an artist to do so for you. I actually don't know the last time I played D&D or any TTRPG for that matter in person. Ugh, like cry. If I were to play in person, I'd get a printed mini version of my character that I created. I could do this painted, or if I wanted to paint it myself, I could also get it unpainted. I could even get a 3D printed file, so I could print it on my own. Truly, the possibilities are endless. So there you have it, folks. Those are my top 5 tips on how to make your D&D game more immersive. Set the mood with music, have the players do in-character recaps, use maps, use a virtual tabletop if you're playing online, and use miniatures or character art. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you made it to this part of the video and you're like, oh my god, Jess, you forgot about this. This is what my table does to make our D&D game more immersive. Let me know in the comments so I can make my tables even more immersive.